What is up, YouTube? This is Jacob Campbell. You might know me from the Christian Perspectives 2004 YouTube channel. This, though, is my Christ Lives 953 channel, where typically I upload wrestling content, but sometimes I'll upload other things like this, which honestly is technically the first time I've done a video like this in a very long time. But with the 4th of July having just passed, you know that once the 4th of July passes, the next big holiday is Halloween. The spooky season is coming in. The smell of pumpkin spice and cooler weather is on its way, and the fall is coming. And I figured, why not kick off the season by talking about how I would have made the Halloween trilogy arguably the most divisive entries in the entire Halloween franchise, where Halloween 2018 40th anniversary film was universally praised by everyone by taking Michael Myers back to his roots and bringing the shape back to our screens after almost a decade away, after the abysmal Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and then you have the divisive sequel, but fun sequel in Halloween Kills, but took itself way too seriously for what was clearly just a stupid fun slasher film. So basically the biggest issue with Halloween Kills is that when it tried to be serious, it failed. But when it tried to be what it was, which was just a stupid fun slasher film with Michael Myers just murdering everyone, that's when the movie was really good. And then you have Halloween Ends, a movie that is the most divisive film probably since The Curse of Michael Myers from I think it was 1995 or 6. Oh my goodness, I hate Halloween Ends. I enjoyed 2018. Kills, I enjoy, although I've soured on it a lot over the years, but I still enjoy it. And Halloween Ends just feels like it's disconnected. I mean, if you like Halloween Ends, I'm happy for you, okay? But I don't like it. I can't stand it. It does not feel connected. And, you know, I think the biggest issue with the trilogy is that, well, my understanding is that it wasn't originally meant to be a trilogy. It didn't feel connected. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing how I would have done the Halloween trilogy. So let's start off with Halloween 2018. Not much is really going to change here, but I am changing the daggum title, because to call a movie that's supposed to be a sequel to Halloween is stupid. Before Halloween 2018 became the movie that we got, originally we were supposed to get a movie called Halloween Returns, which I believe that's where 2018 kind of borrows, whether or not it's, you know, a planned borrow or not, I don't know, but, or intentional, I should say, borrowing or not, but initially had the idea of erasing everything after Halloween 2, which Halloween Returns sounded pretty good, but it had some major timeline issues. I highly encourage you to go and read the script for it. It was very, very, very close to getting made, but the plug was ultimately pulled on it. Then David Gordon Green came in the picture, and we got what we got, which was ultimately better than what Halloween Returns was going to be. But what I would have done is probably just, use that title. And by the way, just know I know nothing about the movie business, so just remember that. And again, this is just me saying how I would do stuff if I had like full reign to do whatever I want. So just remember that. So I would have called the movie Halloween Returns, and I would have done the flashbacks that we see in Halloween Kills, put that at the beginning of Halloween 2018, and then we jump 40 years later, because I've always found it weird when I go back and rewatch the trilogy, like binge watch it. It's very weird watching 2018 and then seeing the 78 flashbacks in the next movie. It would have made much more sense for the 1978 flashbacks to have been in Halloween 2018, which to me is one of the best parts of the trilogy. I mean, they perfectly recaptured the look of the original Halloween, and that makes me extremely happy because the original Halloween is my favorite movie of all time, period. And another thing I would change is I would eliminate the Dr. Sartain twist. I don't hate the Sartain twist. I actually kind of like it because it showcases the smarts of Michael to use Sartain as an instrument of his will, using him as a pawn to help him escape. I like that, but they did nothing with the twist. Nothing. Nothing was done with the twist. It's like, and for you to even understand what I just said, you would have to read between the lines in the movie as well. So, like, for a casual audience, it's would be very difficult for them to understand. So I would eliminate the Sartain twist, and basically I'd do the scene where they run over someone that Michael attacked and put his mask on, and then he appears out of nowhere, injures Deputy Hawkins, kills Sartain, and just chases Alice into Laurie's house. And then the climax and ending of the movie is exactly the same. Halloween Kills now is what we jump to. Halloween Kills I like, and I also like that it takes place on the same night as the original, as the previous film. Definitely harkens back to Halloween 2, but I feel like, though, that narratively holds the film back with the character of Laurie Strode. After all, she is the main character of the trilogy, or her family is, and I specifically want Halloween Kills to be even more so of Laurie's movie. Halloween 2018, I basically want to be the movie that sets the stage for Halloween Kills. So I would have this movie take place just 1 year later, Halloween 2019. I would have Laurie believing that Michael Myers is dead, and the police, they claim that Michael's body disintegrated into ash. The fire was so hot, so the police, everyone believes Michael Myers is dead, but we, the audience, know he's not. And throughout the movie, we would see Laurie very similar to how we see her in Halloween Ends. She's at peace. She's happy. She's even celebrating Halloween. She's writing a book. She is just, the happiest person she can be. We see Allison and Karen are closer than ever, but still struggling with the upcoming anniversary of the loss of a husband and father in Ray. And we also see that Allison has gotten back with her boyfriend Cameron, and life seems to be going pretty well with Michael Myers gone. However, of course, crap hits the fan, and Michael Myers returns, and he murders everyone. Starting on the night of October 30th, bodies begin turning up all over Haddonfield. They start on the outskirts of Haddonfield near a major wooded area, and the bodies just keep piling and piling and piling up. They go into Laurie's old neighborhood where the house ultimately burned down at, and there's just corpses and blood everywhere, and police initially write it off as isolated incidents, but Hawkins, on closer examination, begins to question, could Michael Myers be behind this? But Sheriff Barker would shoot it down, saying that Michael is dead and that it must be a copycat killer trying to recreate the hell that was the previous Halloween. As the movie progresses, Laurie's paranoia keeps growing and growing and growing, with the more and more bodies turning up. She wants to believe that it's just some copycat killer or something amongst those lines. That's what she so desperately wants to believe, but eventually she breaks down and admits, and even has a big fight with Karen over it, that it must be Michael. And ultimately Allison agrees with Laurie, and I would develop the three Strode women a lot throughout this movie, especially Allison, and I will get to why in this movie, in fact, in a minute. And I would also, still do where the final battle is in the Myers house. I think that was a brilliant decision, and I love the characters of Little John and Big John. They are arguably, alongside Michael himself and the flashbacks, the best part of Halloween Kills. I mean, it is awesome, and I love it. So Michael would kill them, and ultimately Michael would stay in the Myers house. Allison, Cameron, they would all make their way to the Myers house, and they would all die, with the exception of Allison getting severely injured. And instead of Karen coming to save the day, though, for Allison, it's Laurie. And it's Laurie that leads Michael away from his house, takes his mask and all that, and leads Michael away, and ultimately chases her down in a reminiscent fashion to the original movie. And ultimately, just like in Halloween Kills, this is where I would do all the cameos. I wouldn't make Brackett or Tommy or Marion or any of these people really characters themselves in the movies. I'd have them be just cameos here at this ending, and all the people Michael kills in this movie be entirely new characters. Of course, again, your main focus is on the Strodes and Michael just murdering a bunch of people, and the town going into chaos over a basically a resurrected Michael Myers killing people. So Michael would get the crap beat out of him, as we saw in the movie, and they believe he's dead. Well, Laurie grabs a gun similar to Dr. Loomis in the Halloween Kills flashback, and she cocks the gun. She's ready to pull the trigger, but then Michael springs to life and slits Laurie Strode's throat clean open, and then Michael proceeds to brutally murder the rest of the mob. And, personally, I don't really mind the slow motion way they depicted Michael killing the mob in Halloween Kills, but at the same time I would kind of like for it to be sped up at the same time, like we saw in the fireman scene, which if there's a way we can still incorporate that scene in this, which I think you could by having it pick up where 2018 left off before the main part of the film begins. That way we can still get that flippin' awesome, iconic moment from Kill. So, yeah, we'll definitely have that in there in this version of the movie. But Michael kills the mob, so Brackett's dead, Tommy's dead. Even Lindsay's dead. Like, everyone is dead at the end of this. It's just Laurie bleeding out on the ground, and Michael is standing over her, and Laurie looks into the eyes of evil, and Laurie, in defiance, spits on Michael, landing her blood on his mask, and Michael he doesn't think anything about it, and he just walks away. He doesn't even give Laurie the benefit of finishing her off, and the movie ends with Laurie just hearing the Halloween music playing, but instead of hearing Michael's breathing like in the original, we hear Laurie just gurgling and coughing up blood and eventually succumbing to her injuries and dying. So the main takeaways from Halloween Kills: Michael is alive, he's extremely even more powerful, he's quadrupled his kill count, and Laurie Strode is dead. So now the final film of the trilogy, Halloween Ends. Where do we go from here? Does Michael win? Or will Allison and Karen avenge Laurie's death and her memory? And this is where, I brought up earlier, make Allison a very important character in Halloween Kills. This is why she needs to be a very important character. One of my biggest issues with the trilogy is that Allison was the future of the Halloween franchise. Her actress is amazing. Her character, I think, is one of the brightest spots of the trilogy until Halloween Ends, where her character is extremely unrealistic and extremely stupid at the exact same time. So, her character needed to be done a whole of a heck lot better, and to me the natural conclusion for her character in this trilogy should have been her becoming the way Laurie was in Halloween 2018, showing that Michael makes people regress. Laurie went from being this smart, bright young woman in the original to 40 years later being a broken mess. And how even those like Karen that never had direct contact with Michael Myers, their life is ruined by him, which really gives Michael this feeling of truly being evil incarnate, that you don't even have to ever meet Michael Myers and you can be affected by Michael Myers. And that's really the overall theme I kind of want to capture, is that Michael affects everyone, even if you've never crossed paths with him. Like, Haddonfield is a small town, but Michael didn't meet everyone in the town. Not everyone crossed paths with him, but yet everyone is affected by what Michael has done. So Halloween Ends would jump a couple of years to the release year 2022, and Laurie has been gone for a couple of years, and Allison has fully become like her grandmother in 2018, preparing for when Michael returns. There have been isolated reports of murders on the outskirts of Haddonfield at various times of year in the years following, but none of these are confirmed kills of Michael or not, but it's heavily implied that it is him. Michael is the most wanted man in America, and the hunt for him is very much on. But we learn that every time the FBI and the Haddonfield police seem to find a lead, turns out to be nothing. And the paranoia of the boogeyman of Michael Myers grows far beyond the town of Haddonfield. It reaches as far as places like California on the other side of the country, and it shows that the whole country is terrified of Michael Myers, because no one knows why Michael does what he does. No one understands what kind of evil Michael Myers is, and it helps kind of showcase the real tragedy of Halloween, and that is, had people listened to Dr. Loomis, many lives would have been saved. So Michael in this movie, I would do him very similar to the 1978 movie. You feel his presence in every scene, but he's not really in the movie that much. Most of the movie is built on suspense, fear, and seeing how that fear manifests within people. And we would have a new cast of characters from like a focus group that Karen is a part of. And in this movie, I'd say probably maybe the first time we see Michael in the film, Michael kills Karen. So Karen is dead, and this fuels Allison even more to want to avenge not only just Laurie and her father, but her mother as well. And the rest, basically second half of the movie, is her hunting Michael in the streets of Haddonfield. But Michael, as he was with Loomis, within the original, was always a step ahead. Michael would kill many people in this film. Not as many as the previous film, but still a good amount of people in this movie. But there is one little note that I want to make. One of our characters in this movie is Corey Cunningham, but he is not going to be any sort of evil killer. In fact, he is killed by Michael Myers. However, the kid that Michael is babysitting, Michael spares his life. Michael just stares at the boy, who looks at him in terror after Michael kills his babysitter. And we need to just remember that. Keep that in the back of your mind. And it's after that when ultimately Allison's able to catch up with Michael, and ultimately they have a initial battle that Michael wins, and we end up getting their second battle being set, which will see them return to the Myers house. It's a plan made by the FBI and the Haddonfield police. However, Michael, showcasing his smarts, literally goes to the local hospital and, begins killing a bunch of people, like a mass number of people. Michael kills them, and it swarms the FBI and the Haddonfield police away from the Myers house, leaving only Hawkins, Allison, and one other officer at the house, while everyone else, including the FBI agents, have swarmed over to the hospital. Meanwhile, Michael makes his way home, and Michael quickly dispatches and kills the officer. Him and Hawkins have a brief tussle. Hawkins gets injured, and Allison, she's already injured anyway, but she fights Michael. She beats Michael down. It's a brutal, bloody fight between Michael and Allison. Ultimately, Allison would find a way to outsmart the Shape, being one of the very few to do so, and we get him pinned to a table in the Myers house kitchen, and similar to Laurie in the real film, slits his wrist, removes his mask, looks to slit his throat, but Michael's hand lifts up, grabs Allison by the throat. He's choking her, looks like he's gonna kill her, but then Hawkins comes in. He pushes Allison away, and Michael's able to lift his other hand off, grab his knife that's next to him, and he sticks it into the skull of Hawkins, killing him. So Hawkins saved Allison's life and gave his own. So Michael is now sat up, and Allison, in a rage after seeing that, grabs a machete or an axe or whatever you want it to be from a utility belt that she is seeing, or that she has, or one that fell on the floor during their battle once they went to the kitchen. And right when Michael's getting up off the table, she slices his head off, and blood flows from the neck. It sprinkles out. Michael's head goes flying in to the other room, and Michael Myers is dead. Police and FBI then swarm the Myers house. Michael's body and head is taken, and ultimately Michael's body is cremated, and we have this hopeful music for the future. We see Allison visiting the graves of her father, grandmother, and mother, along with paying respects by replacing some old, decrepit flowers at the grave of Dr. Loomis with new ones. And we would see Allison leaving Haddonfield behind. But then we jump to a Halloween night. We don't know when or how far in the future it is, but it's the same POV from the 1978 original. And to make a long story short, that young boy that Michael spared in this film, just like Michael, kills his sister, and his parents confront him, and we finish Halloween Ends with the way the original movie started. And we hear, as the camera pulls out, we hear the breathing of what sounds like Michael Myers. Cue the original 1978 Halloween theme, and it leaves you with this bone-chilling feeling of wondering, did Michael, like he's flipping Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars, did he transfer his essence into this young boy? Or is this young boy his own kind of evil? That is the question that we are left with, along with a final message that as long as there is evil in the world, people like Michael Myers will always live. So, with that being said, that is how I would have done the Halloween trilogy. Of course, some of y'all may like it, some of y'all may not. Y'all could probably tear it to shreds, and that's okay. Again, I'm not a film writer. I don't know nothing about making movies. I just like talking about them, especially with the Halloween franchise. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, and hope we all have an amazing Halloween season, and God bless you all. Thank you for watching.